Their first mistake was to build the galaxy's economy on this alien matter nobody understands. Next, they start using it to power these frickin' robots. And then someone begins a weapons research program underneath the largest city outside Earth. What could possibly go wrong, right? So now, with civilians missing, and prototype war machines on the rampage, right in the middle of the biggest evacuation in history, someone has to slip in, clean up the mess, and keep their mouth shut. A freelancer. A fixer, they call it. That's me, Avalon Darrow, at your service.
Hello and welcome, I'm Stormo, and yes, we are Avalon Darrow, and we are playing Matterfall, which is the new game from Housemarque, which is great, because Housemarque make great games, and it feels like not that long ago I was talking about a new game from Housemarque, because I was talking about Next Machina, which came out, what, 2 months ago now? Now I did a video on it too. But this is Matterfall. This has just come out this week. I actually managed to swing some review code for this, which is the first time for me in a little while, for various reasons. But no, I did. I got some. I got a review code for it. I have actually played it before, just not on the PS4 that we're currently looking at. And these are all the levels. I think there are only, there may only be 3 worlds. Maybe there's more after that. I don't know, I haven't got that far yet, but the levels are pretty big, so it does take a little while to get through them. Yeah, we'll play on, you have 3 difficult levels, we'll play on Freelancer difficulty. This first stage is mostly just a tutorial, but it gives you a good idea. Yeah, and if you like Housemarque, if you like Next Machina, if you liked Resogun, if you liked Alienation, you're probably going to like this. It's a sort of different game. It's probably the most different game they've produced since Alienation. Just have my coffee there as we get started. But yeah, it's the most interesting game they've produced because it's a side-scroller. But that doesn't mean it's not a twin-stick shooter. And this level, like I said, this is mostly a tutorial. So it's telling you all the moves and stuff and how to use your weapons. And how to do all that good stuff, how to shoot. So it is a twin stick shooter. The right stick is actually a shooting button. And yeah, you can stun enemies to do that. So you have this cool strike attack where you can do that just to basically a slide. And you can do it in any direction too, which means you can use it to gain height. And you can do it while you're jumping, so you can do that. Yep, like that. And you have to do it to get through these matter barriers that exist in the game. And this is something of a mechanic, because you need to be able to get through these. There's nothing. I wanted to see if there was something. There's not, and there are checkpoints. This is mostly a platform game. It's got some cool mechanics. Obviously, being a Housemarque game, it's got scoring, multipliers, all that good stuff. You have full 360-degree shooting. We have a grenade launcher, so let's equip that on one of our buttons. There we go. And this will teleport to safety, which is great. Grenades are those things that I just shot out there, the yellow thing, all that good stuff. Oh yeah, and double jumping, you can actually gain height by double jumping and striking up, which is really nifty. Okay, so this is a tutorial on how to recharge. Stuff it up, there we go, do that guy up. Get up here, go through here.
Multiplier up.
Oh, and this game has control pad voices, which you possibly just heard there. I might turn that off because that's going to get very annoying. So just give me a moment, guys. I will disable that. Yeah, controller speaker. Slightly annoying. I'll turn that off. Okay, that's better. Overall, I find this game really interesting. It's not it has fairly large levels. It's not a Metroidvania. It reminds me a little bit of the 2014 Strider game that came out. And yeah, I've just got to be a bit careful here, because these things are a pain in the butt. You can't actually, as far as I know, destroy them. And they just spew out bullets at you. So you got these lifts you can charge up by using matter, which is cool. Yeah, and this is a big mechanic too, is you can create platforms. Obviously, you're not really creating platforms, you're just filling out platforms that already exist. Really, so it's not really platform creation, but you have these sort of demarcated areas where you can do this. This is the other cool thing, you have matter bombs. And matter bombs, basically, enemies will occasionally drop them. And when they do, you effectively have to... When enemies do drop them, you have to use your matter beam, which is your L2 button. So you've got shooting on the right stick, you've got grenades on R2, and then you've got matter beam on L2. And then R1 and L1 are confusing because they're jump and strike, which is your dash, pretty much.
Overcharge so ready.
You sort of got to get used to that a little bit. Can't actually go through here without activating the overcharge. Okay. So overcharge is basically super hyper power damage. I think you get invulnerability and a bunch of other stuff for a little while. And you see the charge meter under the health bar at the top center of the screen there. So that's what overcharge is. It's good fun, works well, quite powerful, quite fast, quite good.
Multiplier up.
Those guys out. And of course, this being a Housemarque game, I'll just have to stop for a moment. There we go. This being a Housemarque game, there is
multiplier down.
There is a score multiplier that goes up or down based on whether you're taking damage or not.
Overcharge ready.
But there is also that awesome rain of particles effect that Housemarque loves so much in all of their games. And I think we can sort of get to the point where we can safely say that Housemarque have established their own genre. There are certain developers that I feel like after a certain time were able to essentially have their own games classified more or less as a genre to themselves. Treasure, for example, a good example. Their action games were very much a treasure game. Cave are a good example. Their shooters are very much cave games, that kind of thing. And that's Housemarque, I think, are getting to that point where their games are very much Housemarque games. They have a very specific style that is very much what they love to do, and they also have some really interesting visual trademarks, and this sort of bits of things flying everywhere on the screen, these sort of square blocks of dead enemy effects are very much a Housemarque visual trademark, along with all the other cool stuff they do. Oops. So yeah, no, it definitely is a Housemarque game. Because I don't want to stuff around with things over there. Destroy if I can. That health back. Those guys down. Here. Die. There we go. But yeah, this is very much what you've come to expect from Housemarque. Oh god.
Multiplier lost.
Okay, so the trick here is to actually stand behind that thing. I didn't really do it that way. We beat the level, so that's all good. That's excellent. But yeah. Yeah, so that's the first stage, and we did it, reasonably well, I think. Yeah. And obviously you get scored and get bonuses and all that kind of stuff here, so... So, now, I thought I pressed the X button then, and I did not, while I was busy answering my phone and drinking coffee. Should have put my phone on silent, but oh well, it's on silent now. Actually, there's something else I should put on silent. Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. Anyway, So, there's a couple of things to note. One thing I found with this game is that the controls do take a little bit of getting used to. Having jump on R1 is something I always throws me as someone who's used to jump being a face button on most games. I can understand why they've done it, so you can shoot and jump at the same time. But it's one of those rub your stomach, pat your head kind of things where I'm just not quite capable of that level of dexterity most of the time. So yeah, getting the hang of that is going to be sort of the hard thing in this game, really, if you plan to play it. And getting the hang of the fact that you have the two kinds of beam weapon. And it's worth pointing out that because of the fact that you can do that with the exploding thing, L2 is as much a weapon as your main gun. You don't really get gun power-ups in this game that I've noticed anyway. I've gone through the first two worlds and I haven't had a gun power-up yet, so I'm not sure I'll be getting one anytime soon. But yeah, it's one of those things where I guess
Multiplier down.
I thought I dashed through that. I kind of messed it up, I guess. It's one of those things where I guess the game wouldn't really be playable otherwise. Like, what they're asking you to do isn't possible. I've got to stay out of the way of those sort of lava flows. The story is basically that there's like this weird alien matter stuff, and it didn't go well. And now we've got to deal with it, and we are the person who deals with it. So we are dealing with it. Oh, and I died. And the death explosions look fantastic, because of course they do. This is a Housemarque game. Everything looks fantastic. We get to see the cool death screen, reload screen here. This seems to be the same for every world, this screen too. But yeah, there's honestly not a huge amount more to say about it. I'm just going to keep playing for a while. It's a fun game. I'm having a lot of fun with it. This is, like I say, I've put a couple hours into this so far. Just to... Oh, whoa, watch out for this stuff. I need to get some health. Health drops are actually pretty generous, I've found. In general. They're not too bad. There's not a lot of... I wouldn't say there's a lot of exploration in the game. That's a health drop there, those green things. There isn't a huge amount of, say, exploration or anything like that in the game. It's certainly not like a Metroidvania type of thing. The stages are pretty big and there's a lot to do in each one. But yeah, there's not a huge amount of exploration. That said, yeah, there's a lot of different ways to get through the stages, and there are things to find in each one. But yeah, if you're expecting like I guess probably a Shadow Complex, or I suppose Metroid experience is probably another way to describe it. But if you're expecting that kind of experience, this isn't that kind of game. It's very much focused on fast action, that kind of thing. I'm trying to think, there was another game recently. Well, I did mention Strider before, but Strider is more Metroidvania than this, I guess.
Multiplier lost.
I'm just trying to think of a good game that... there was one recently that came out that's very similar to this. I've got to stop doing that, by the way. Yeah. Love that you can do that, actually, with the layer. As I'm falling, I'll just make the platform appear under me. Does require a little bit of time, but you get it. You get there. It's not that hard. Checkpointing is not super generous, I've found. And, lob grenades out, blow those things up. The matter bombs become really handy later on. Oh boy, do that. Well, I guess we're going this way now. This is what I mean about exploration. There are multiple paths through the levels, so it's not a super exploration heavy game, but it's not exactly a linear path from one end of the level to the other. It's well designed, well made. Like I say though, checkpointing is not super generous, so don't expect to play through difficult areas multiple times until you get them. Obviously, you do have infinite lives. Effectively, like, you just continue from where you died. These guys are a right pain in the butt. And the trick is to do that to them. The grenade is actually really handy and really damaging, and I need to learn to use it more as I play this game, which I haven't managed to do yet. Oops.
Health low.
Oh, that's bad. That's super bad. There's a health up on there as well, so that's handy. These laser beam guys are annoying too. I thought there was something back there, but there's not. That's fine. That's what we wanted. So those little purple things are just score bonuses. You have to hit them with your matter generator, which is your L2. You have to hit them with that to make them work, but once you do, they're all good. Checkpoint, and then we get to go this way, which I'm sure we went this way before, but whatever. It feels kind of like it's the same, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, the matter bombs are great because they give you this really powerful sort of attack, and you can see how damaging they do. And the thing is, if you get multiple matter bombs within proximity of each other, they'll actually chain react. So if you have 2 matter bombs and you set one off and it hits the other one, there'll be a chain reaction. You can actually get quite a lot of power out of that. Oh boy. This way. See, I don't even need to activate that platform. This is annoying. Oh boy. That's something else that can happen when you use the slide, because of course it's based on your joystick angle. If you don't have the joystick angle quite right, instead of sliding up, you'll slide the wrong direction. Oh, I'm not getting this right at all. Okay, I know what I'm doing. There we go. That's what I wanted. That was harder than it really needed to be, but that's mostly my skill, not the game's problem. There's nothing that way. I do find with the sliding mechanic actually that I don't use it just to accelerate. Like, you know, in some games you'll just spam it to accelerate. Because there is a very slight cooldown on it in this game, you don't really use it for that.
Multiplier up.
Those matter bombs don't actually stay around forever either. They do go away after a while. But that's fine.
Multiplier up.
They're really just a bonus thing. You can get an item, I do have it, I did get an item that increased the chance of them appearing, which turned out to be super handy because they are super dangerous. Well, super dangerous to the enemy, of course, not to me. I don't take damage from them. Also, stay away from the red stuff, that's bad stuff.
Multiplier up.
Basically, that's like the bad, evil matter that I guess we're here to clean up.
Multiplier
really.
down.
Stay away from those things too, that's not great. That's cool. We got our supercharger up and ready to go. You always get your health restored when you get to the checkpoints too, which is nice. So, while the checkpoints aren't super generous, health pickups are pretty generous.
Multiplier
which
down.
is good to know, because without generous health pickups, this game would be nightmarish. And I imagine on the higher difficulty level, you probably do get less health pickups and more aggressive enemies and all that stuff. So it probably is a bit harder. But on the standard difficulty, this is
Multiplier down.
So later on, you get versions of these guys that have shields as
Multiplier
well,
down.
just to make life more interesting for you. And yeah, when you take damage, you lose level of your multiplier as well. So that's always good to know. Speaking of dudes to rescue us, there's this guy here. Does he give us? No, he's just going to give us health. Very occasionally, those guys will give you extra power-ups. It's probably really important to find all of them in a level, which I'm not really showing off right now, but you can see in the top left that there's...
health low.
Oh boy, that health pick up there. Oh, come on. Oh, I walked through that health pickup like 3 times. Okay, that was really weird. I guess maybe there's some weird things going on there. Anyway, let's try that again. Go through this way. Visually, the game looks fantastic, I think. It's Housemarque, again, have this really clean 3D style they like to use. I'll just come in there and get those bonuses. I actually have to go down now anyway, so... Guy down, guy down. Let's do this the slightly slower and steadier way, I think. That's the best way to go about it now, surely. Yeah, that's what we want. And that is probably something worth mentioning with this game, is that it's not all about... it's not all about running and gunning. There is it does reward a
Hello.
little bit of going slow when you need to. So it is worth noting that you don't have to be super fast. There is obviously, you are timed to get through level, there are score bonuses for doing that, but if you're just trying to get through the game, you're not playing to score, then you're not going to have to worry too much about speed. It's just, it's a nice pace actually. I really like the pace of it anyway. It feels a bit slower than Next Machina, which is just a viciously fast game for sure, but it feels slower than Alien Nation a bit too, and Alien Nation is a fairly slow-paced game, I would say, in comparison to Next Machina or Resogun. For that matter, they're both very much faster-paced games than this. But you know, that's okay. Oh, and you get this cool lift sequence here too, which is good fun. Oop. Maybe don't use that unless there's an actual thing to use it on. These guys again. They're actually a lot easier to deal with once you know that you can stun enemies using the slide. Some of the tougher enemies become a lot easier because they're actually very vulnerable to that. So, for example, those sort of matter men type characters, these guys, are actually quite vulnerable to the slide, so they're much easier to deal with once you know that you need to use the slide to hit them.
Multiplier loss.
But, for example, the spider tank guys are also like that as well, where they take a lot more damage if you don't do that than if you do. You need to shoot them a lot more.
Overcharge.
So, and I'm not sure if that's because there's actually extra damage being applied there, like a significant amount of damage, but I think part of it's the stun effect. Like even this guy's much more vulnerable, and he's a much tougher enemy than the smaller tanks. Got that health there, and that's the stage 2, or stage 1, 2, I believe. So yeah. And I got a gold medal again. But yeah, as you can see, it's not exactly the rush that Next Machina is. But at the same time, I don't know. It feels. I'm sure there's a game. I'm trying to think of a game that I played not long ago that did remind me a bit of this. I kind of wish, in some ways, actually, with this game that it had more power-up options and stuff like that, but then again, I know you get the power-ups from freeing the civilians, and I haven't really been focusing on freeing the civilians. That's actually a trademark in every Housemarque game, isn't it? Resogun, Alien Nation, Next Machina, and this all have a rescuing mechanic. Every stage you have to rescue civilians. That's another part of Housemarque's determined genre of video game. I guess we go this way and down and into these things. Bloody hell. Thought I was going to do it. There's actually two paths here. I didn't realise that. Well, we can go this way. Let's find out what's over here. I don't think I've ever been this way. Well, I bet I know what one thing might be over here. So let's go down. Slide our way through these guys. This feels much more like it's actually the way to go now. Oh, maybe. We'll see. Oh yeah, and the cool thing about matter bombs is they destroy enemy bullets as well, so that's handy.
Health low.
Oops. Health low. Oh! I walked into that, that's why. For some reason I didn't even see that. I was too busy focusing on everything else. I'm like, oh, hang on. I do love the visual effect when you die, though, the blue explosion. Most things about this game are super cool, really. I think if you've watched any moments of this video so far, you probably already know if you're going to like this game or not. Basically, you'll know that you like Housemarque games, you don't like Housemarque games, and this is a Housemarque game, and if you don't like them, you're not going to like this. If you do like Housemarque games, like me, and I think they make fantastic games, to be honest, then you're definitely going to miss. So that's what was over here that I missed. Okay, so, right button. Okay, now let's go the way through. No, I do like the whole mechanic for civilians, actually. It's good fun. It's an extra objective to worry about in the level too. I mean, it is entirely optional. Like, obviously for scoring purposes, you want to do it because you get to score, and the civilians do give you power-ups. Like, I got the grenade from civilians before.
Multiplier
yeah.
up.
Yeah, let's try not to mess this up this time. Well, I'm not getting the... didn't get the power bomb I wanted. The matter bomb.
Multiplier lost.
I lost my multiplier again. Because I'm bad and I took damage. That's the way you get through there. And then you gotta go this way. And these 0G seconds are great fun, actually. They provide a nice sort of change-up in the way the game works. They're also kind of actually very difficult. Oh, no, I want to actually go that way.
0G.
Yeah, there's stuff here I want to collect. It's kind of a shame that doesn't have any effect other than on those things. Still, they're doing alright. We get to see the cool future city.
Multiplier up.
Now, one thing you're probably seeing here that I'm not doing very well, but which certainly if you're planning to play this game, you know, seriously, like for... I want to say for speedrun purposes. I imagine it's going to be fun for speedrun actually, but more for scoring purposes and things like that, is you probably want to know
multiplier down.
How to say
multiplier lost.
Timing those matter bombs is what I'm talking about. Yeah, you probably want to learn the best way of timing those matter bombs. There's something I think is on this way. This is what I want. See, again, if you're playing for score, that's all worth it. But that's about all you can do there. I'm sure if you're good, you can probably do some kind of glitch to gain height there and skip maybe a whole section of this level, but I don't know for sure if that's possible. That's just the amateur speedrunner in me talking too. Oh, let's go through there. Let's kill that. Let's take these guys down. Through there. There's a lot of good stuff happening in the background in this game too. Now,
multiplier
I know for a fact that if I don't do that, I can actually avoid a very tough fight.
Multiplier lost.
Nope, I did get hit then. That sort of lava matter stuff, you can't shift through it without taking damage. It's not like enemy bullets. We've got the lifts. Which actually kind of turns... Or is that the camera turning? Something's turning anyway. Oops. But yeah, this part's great.
Multiplier up.
I didn't get out the window there. Should have done that. There's I think a civilian in there. I can't remember exactly. I'm sure I have done it. That's not why. Oops. Oh boy. Those get that health wall here too. That. Matter bomb. Jump up. So the levels are pretty complex. They do you do need early on,
health low.
Even very early, you really do need to think about. Oh damn it! You really do need to think about using all of the tools you have available from very early on. Like this is what, the third stage, level 1-3, and it's not easy. You've got to go through quite a lot. Let's see if we can't get that secret this time that was there. I'm pretty sure it's a secret. I'm sure I did it on my initial playthrough. It's not that one. Just as these enemies start appearing, we've got to sort of be aware of the fact that there's enemies coming at us. There, that's what it is. Yeah, and I'm right, it is. It's
health low.
Ah, we got a shotgun. Nice. Okay, so I can equip that on, I guess I'll put it there.
Shotgun.
Switch to it. Okay, so that's all that does. And then it has a slow recharge, of course. Boy, it does some damage though. Boy. Yeah, wow. That's good shotgun in there. That's definitely something I want
Health low.
to use, because that's actually better than a grenade. Then again, everything's better than a grenade, honestly. I found that the grenade is not great. Mostly because you got to line it up and do it that way. But yeah, the shotgun's really nice. There's also a heat seeker that you get later on as well. I'm going to have to get that thing again, of course, because checkpointing. So we'll have to remember to get off there and get that. I lost all my health doing that too, which is kind of annoying. But you can't, not a lot I can do because you can't really destroy those. Can't easily destroy those. So much damage. Shotgun. Yep, it's whacking on there. Whoa, let's grab it and put it on. Yeah, put it. Ah, come on, pick it up. There we go.
Health low.
That's nice. That's what I want.
Health low.
Oh! Bloody bugger. Oh, the last thing I wanted to do was die again. Oh well. Oh well, we're getting there. We're getting there. And of course, I have to go back and do that whole bit again. This is what I mean about the checkpointing. It's... I want to say it's not generous, but then again, if you've ever played, like, compared to a lot of older games, it's very generous. The animation for the shooting there is quite cool too. Oh boy, I already took 2 health.
Get me out of here.
Okay, we got it. I did take all my did lose all my health and damage though. There we go though. But health pickups are pretty generous, so it's not a huge deal. Let me re-equip that shotgun and hope we don't die this time either.
Shotgun.
Matter bomb. Oh well, it's fine. It's fine. We're doing fine. See, this section here would be great for the shotgun. Yeah, works really well there. Just want to guarantee that. Can I shotgun that thing?
Health low.
Oh boy. Keep that alive so I can shoot up and then shoot across there. That's what got that health. Jump up here. Oop. Got a little ambitious there, I think, but that's fine. We're doing okay. These things are annoying though. Still, we're doing alright. This is just a bonus area anyway, I think.
Multiplier up. Overcharge
Still,
ready.
we are getting bonuses. And we've got the multiplier going up. And I've got overcharge ready, so that'll be something to have. And there's a checkpoint, so that's useful. Let's get across this section. Let's use our overcharge right now.
Multiplier up.
I'm gonna cow it out and just go this way. There is stuff over there, I think.
Multiplier down.
In fact, I know there's stuff over there. I just gotta. This here, and then it's this guy here. So see if I can't free him. Get health. Down here. Uh-oh.
Multiplier lost.
Uh-oh. That was not the smart way to do that, but we did it. We got there. The nice thing is you can shoot through these matter platforms, but enemies can't shoot you through them. So that's really handy to know. Because it means you can actually just use these platforms as a shield, rather than just as a platform. So they have that secondary sort of function as well, which is nice. And that is what happens when you... Oh boy. That is what happens when you almost stuff everything up.
Overcharge ready. Multiplier up. Multiplier lost.
Yeah, cool. That's nice. Oh boy. This is when you just need to do that and hope.
Overcharge.
It's overcharged. Let's go
Multiplier
nuts.
up.
Look at all these enemies dying. Overcharge looks great, doesn't it? Pardon me. Overcharge looks fantastic. This super thick platform here. Shotgun.
Multiplier
I'm not
lost.
using shotgun anywhere near as much as I should be. Still. There we go. That's all those guys dealt with. That crab that's down there. Crab, spider, whatever. Enemy tank thing. These things. Grab them. Not getting the best score because I'm not maintaining my multiplier very well, but otherwise, yeah, it's alright. Quickly.
Multiplier up. Multiplier lost.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was gonna happen. Oh boy. Better at moving around. Oh, come on. Get up there. There we go. Nice, nice. Move across. Oh boy. Shotgun! No? Yes.
Multiplier up.
Multiplier, yay. It really will affect your score too.
Multiplier lost.
You know, aren't a complete scrub at the game like I am. Still, we're doing it.
Overcharge ready.
Oh boy.
Health low.
Oh boy. Overcharge! Time for overcharge. Let's go nuts with the overcharge. Look at all of that mad enemy death. That's the overcharge for you. That's what you want.
Multiplier up.
Okay. Grab all that so we can get another overcharge fairly quickly. And I've got multiplier happening too. Oh boy. Grab that health too. Oh wow, the shotgun does
Multiplier
wonders.
down.
Oops. Yeah, the shotgun's great.
Overcharge ready.
That's a good weapon. I like that. I'm not a fan of shotguns in general, but that's a good weapon. I guess that was the end of that stage. Let's see what comes up next. Actually, I know what's next. The boss. And we got 3 of the civilians, so that's a decent score. If I can continue. So this is the first world boss. We'll have a crack at him. He took me a few goes to beat. Not because he's hard, but because you need a lot of dexterity to do this. Like, there's a lot of dodging. It's a really well-designed boss fight, I think, but when you see it in action, you'll understand where the difficulty comes from. It comes very much from your skill rather than from the boss fight itself. Like, I don't think it's a particularly hard boss fight for someone who's moderately skilled. But it will take you a few goes. It's very much a fight where you've got to know what each pattern's going to be, and you've got to learn to dodge. It very much relies on you knowing how to use that shift mechanic, and also knowing that that cannot be shifted through, which is, I think, really important to learn.
Health low.
Fortunately, try and get some hits in. Fortunately for us, back out, forward. Ah, that wasn't what I wanted to do. That helps. Fortunately, the boss is very vulnerable to... Got it actually hit him. This boss is very vulnerable to the supercharge, the overcharge. So I think I mentioned earlier that the slide has a cooldown, and it's something you've really got to get the hang of. There we go. We got the boss into phase 2. Which is actually kind of handy because, oh boy, so phase 2, the boss starts adding the enemies to the equation. Really got to remember how things go. This is where the dexterity I was talking about before really comes into play. Because you've really got to be able to concentrate. And of course, you're playing super zoomed out at this point as well, so... But we want to save that overcharge for the boss when he gets here, so we can just go nuts on him here. And you can see already that's just a huge amount of damage on it. Gain that health and then lost it immediately. See, that's where the shifting stuff becomes really important to remember, because you cannot, absolutely cannot, shift through that lava stuff. So you do need to be able to do that. So it's just a case of keeping all of that in mind. And remembering that I've also got that really nice shotgun that I should be using more of. And remembering that I can do that as well. That's useful. Try and get some tokens for the supercharge as well, because we want to be able to do that. Oh boy. That was fun. That means getting a bit too...
Health low.
Oh boy, I'm messing that up. Well, I got the health up, so that's handy. Yeah, the pattern gets a bit faster now too. So over here. Yeah, getting those matter bombs is really useful.
Overcharge ready.
So again, I want to hold off on the overcharge, even though I'm losing a lot of... I couldn't overcharge it. Even though I'm losing a lot on the overcharge, I want to hold off on it because... Oh! Stop that. Do that. This way I want to overcharge. And get as much damage into him as we can. There we go. Bullets. But yeah, no, this is quite. I do like this boss. But yeah, I think it's pretty well designed.
Ready.
I think as far as Housemarque boss battles go, it's pretty good.
Low.
Oh boy.
Health low.
Oh, damn it! Thank you. Give me that health. Yeah, let's not get hit by him this time either. And I have another overcharge, so I should be able to do the rest of him now.
Health low.
There we go, we beat him. I think we beat him, yeah. There he goes. Excellent. So that's the first world of Matterfall. And I think that's a good place to leave the video. We beat the boss. It took me only the one try that time too. It did take me like 3 or 4 tries the first time I did it to do it, but yeah, I remembered how all the patterns go this time. Especially those second phase patterns where you've got to actually jump and then dash through the bullets. But yeah, that's Matterfall. I think that's a pretty good place to leave it. I'll jump back to the title screen. I think we got saved there. But yeah, it's a pretty fun game. And if you like Housemarque stuff, you're definitely going to like it. If you don't like Housemarque stuff, maybe you'll like it. Anyway, maybe you want to have a action platform game that's pretty fun. But yeah, that's Matterfall. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.